Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a new episode of Today's Youth. And today we're joined here at the studio by Rana Salah. She's a cell and molecular biology student at AUC. Rana represented Egypt 3 times on the international level. She will tell us more about her achievements and her studies at the American University in Cairo. Thank you for joining us, Rana.
Thank you so much. So actually, I have participated in many international events previously. I started my journey early when I just graduated from STEM school. It was in 2018. So my first representation for Egypt was when I was delegated one of the 5 delegates representing Egypt. We were chosen by the Academy of Science and Technology, and it was mainly to participate in the Asian Science Camp. So mainly the Asian Science Camp was a place where all of the countries we had representatives from all of the countries in Asia, and they were all science students and engineering students, and we were mainly responsible to solve the problem of plastics and to solve some environmental issues.
So that was the first time you represented Egypt.
Yes.
On the international level.
Yes.
Tell me about the other 2 times that you represented
Sure.
Egypt.
So
in which countries, and tell me more about these experiences.
So the most recent one was when I represented Egypt in the SynBio Africa conference in Uganda as an IGEM delegate. So we were actually, I was the AUC Egypt team leader for IGEM team. IGEM is mainly a competition in synthetic biology. So it's mainly focused on a new field, and it's abbreviated for International Genetically Engineered Machine. And I was actually presenting there in order to represent the opportunities and the challenges of this new field in the region in general. So mainly we were tackling a new method in order to involve or renew the education for synthetic biology, because we are trying to plan to have the very first major in synthetic biology in Egypt. Mm-hmm. And it will be a whole revolution in the region and in Africa. And also we were more tackling about how we can involve more workshops for students in the science field and in all of the medical and science fields in Egypt in general. So we were only we got silver medal in this competition the previous year in 2020, where we're actually working on COVID-19. And that was the first launch and my first introduction to a passion that I have always been looking for in synthetic biology. Mm-hmm. So yeah, mainly that was the most recent representation, and then we also had another one in the previous year in 2019, where I was in Ukraine, and it was more of a volunteering project. So mainly for volunteering, I feel that it's a very important thing that all students need to learn, because it helps you to know that you are a global citizen. Mm-hmm. And it helps you a lot to understand more about all of the different communities.
Right. Well, even after you received the medal, you continued and you were selected to be a member of a team or a leader of the team. Yes. In Russia. Tell me more about this experience.
Yes. So mainly after we got the silver medal, we couldn't join this year as an AUC team, but I didn't want to stop, and I wanted to know more about what are the advances in the field in different countries. So I was selected to be a mentor for a team in Russia. That
was in 2021.
Yes, this year. And I actually got an award really recent for as a best stand-up mentor. And it was a great experience to deal with them. And
how did you manage to be a leader of a team from members from different countries?
Yeah, that was really challenging at the beginning in order to find a middle ground between what we have, the different experiences that we have. But then I was mainly helping them on different boards, so they were more focused on the scientific board, and in the lab work they were more talking about therapies that can protect from radiations. But then I also wanted them to understand that science is more about the communication and how it can be communicated and how it can actually help us in order to make the people and the community more aware of it. So I mainly was working with them on the human practices, and they were actually able like to produce a book where we do troubleshooting for all of the issues that can happen in the lab. And they were actually able to like work with different countries and different teams all over the world, and participating also in the competition to produce this book. And it will be actually advancing in the next years in ITER.
Rana, tell me, how did you manage to find the time, manage your time between your studies and the extracurricular activities?
So actually, during my whole study in AUC, I found that the most enriching part, besides actually like just getting the knowledge, is applying this knowledge. So that's why I put a very important goal that I have to manage my time, and I have to be like really focused on searching out for extracurricular activities. And actually, that's a thing that I really like suggest other students to do as well. Because it helped me from the very first part in order to know more about leadership, and in order to know more about how we can gain like soft skills like the presentation skills or the public speaking, or even fundraising, or even how you can like address your ideas and turn it from the lab into the real world and do actual actual projects. So for example, in our last competition, we have went to orphanage, and we have tried to give them lectures in order to like they are not like more exposed to the field of science, and we wanted them to understand what we are trying to do. We also like did lectures and workshops for STEM students, and we had also like participated in other competitions, and we tried to integrate this. So we wanted to turn the work from biology from just the lab part into like the actual world, and to have like workshops and to have business workshops or bio ventures that are businesses that work on biology, and they are actually a whole new bioeconomies that we want to find in Egypt, and it's found worldwide. But actually, it was like really important when we also participated with HALT competition. It's a known competition in USA, and we have given them lectures about how you can like tackle sustainable development goals in order to actually find a certain gaps that you can fill and introduce to the business market.
Rana, you're currently a senior student studying biology. Tell me more about the plans for the future. What are your plans for the future?
So yeah, so mainly I plan to continue in academia, so I'm more like into the masters and doing my PhD. But besides this, I also like looking forward to the business part and how I can do bio ventures. And I have a great goal at the end to have like the very first like research center in synthetic biology. And we are trying to like develop the new curricula for this, and to train and develop the trainings for starting such a center, and to gather the collaborations. Like, so I was really impressed when I went to Uganda that they have been planning for this conference for up to 10 years, and they actually were able to make their dream come true. So we can have these centers in Africa. It will be a whole revolution for us. And actually also currently I'm the vice president of the Biology Association in AUC. So mainly we are trying to change the overview or the view of the community of the science like sector, or the biology or chemistry or physics. So we are trying to collaborate together in order to give them more exposure to the market, and how like many students may not really actually know what is the next step in their studies. So it's really important to gain work experiences and to explore like different fields. And that's what we did even in the competitions, that we had like 13 members from total different fields and from total different like majors. So it was really important to find an integration and to integrate all of their knowledge together.
Right. Rana, you're a graduate of STEM schools, which is a boarding school based on research.
Yes.
Tell me more about these schools in Egypt.
So STEM schools is an abbreviation for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and it was actually a very important experience in my life. So I have graduated in 2018, and throughout the 3 years I have been in the Qahliya STEM school, I have learned a lot about the basics of research. So we have a capstone project each year. It's like a graduation project that we actually I found other engineering students now in AUC that just do the same projects that we have been doing during high school. So we have we tackle different challenges in Egypt. So we started the first year by tackling challenges about overpopulation and then energy, and then we move on to tackle problems like agriculture issues and industrial issues. And now they are actually integrating a very new field about IoT and embedded systems and the whole programming stuff. So it's more about giving you all of the skills and all of the toolkits that helps to build a researcher. And the idea of having a border school, even some families may be more we do not want our students to experience this, but it's actually a very fulfilling experience because you are really embedded in the system and you are living it to the max, and you get the true meaning of teamwork, and you learn a lot from this.
And you were able to participate in different or several competitions at school. One of them is ISEF. Yes. Where you won this competition. Tell me more about those competitions and how far did they add to you?
So actually in my last year, in my senior year in STEM, I have participated in ISEF and I won the first category. It was me and one of my colleagues, and I have participated and we won the first place in environmental engineering. It was mainly a project about concrete mixtures that we wanted to develop and improve, and it was my first experience to actually get the work from science into the real world, and we were actually able to do visibility studies and to convince the judges that we are doing actual work, and it was all because thanks to my experience in all of the exhibitions that we do in STEM. So it was really helpful, and it helped me a lot when I entered the school, and when I entered my science and engineering school currently in American University in Cairo, to do more projects and to find that I'm able to help and to aid my other colleagues to learn more about this.
STEM schools are based on developing your passion for research.
Yes.
How far did it develop your passion for research, and are you planning to continue in this field when you finish?
Yes, it actually developed my passion a lot, because when you just think about a certain field and industry, or you think that you're gonna work, for example, in a certain profession, but after you enter STEM, I found that I wanna live for research. That's my career and that's the field that I wanna work with. So it was really life-changing that I wanted to change my whole view and to continue doing this work. So I think that it's not even me alone, and even a lot of STEM graduates are currently representing Egypt in different countries, and they are exposing new fields. So for example, if we are exploring the synthetic biology field, it has never been explored before in Egypt. So it's changing your view to have no more limits. Like you can do whatever you want to do.
In 2020, you launched the Greenish Club at the university.
Yes.
Tell me more about this experience.
So Greenish Clubs is actually it's a community work that's found like throughout the last 10 years, and actually they wanted to establish the first clubs all over the universities in Egypt. So they had like a lot of universities involved, and I was the founder of the one here in AUC, and mainly it was really important because the environmental issues is a very important part that we want to know, that how the growth in community and industry is affecting our environment. And actually Egypt in general is really interested in this field, and we are like we are receiving summits in order to launch this like this topics and these issues, and I actually can see that a lot of initiatives is actually being done, and we wanted to do this from our board. So it's mainly we were organizing a competition to get like ideas from students in order to do projects that tackle the environment and that try to solve these problems. And we had one of our like of our teams from AUC that won one of the grand prizes for like discovering a new type of like wood that can be done just from paper. So that was interesting. It was.
Rana, you definitely faced a lot of obstacles throughout your academic years at school and at university. Now you're a senior student. Tell me, what would you like to tell the youth about persistence and perseverance to reach your goals?
So I actually like want to tell them that it's not about all of the effort that you do, it's actually about learning from it. So if I didn't pass through all of these obstacles, I wouldn't have built my character, or I wouldn't have like developed the experience to try to solve the problems for others furthermore. So it's more like as a mentality or how we try to think about it. So if you are facing any problem or any issue, or you even find that there's a gap that you don't find what fits you enough, you have to start doing it yourself, and you have to start planning for it. So it's mainly like change the way you think that you can do whatever you want to do. And you have all capabilities within yourself. So it's more about learning how to collaborate with friends that have the same vision as you, and try to make it come to the real life. Because when you actually like dig deeper, you find that people are still doing a lot of work. And we want to like not think even, and we don't think even about yourself. Like try to integrate all of the knowledge, and try to integrate and to search for people all over the world. You will have like a very rich community.
Rana, did you ever reach a point where you said, I can't go further, I'm not going to continue?
Yes, it's actually like it truly happens, because we are always under stress. So it's important to have, like, I always say to myself that it's really important to have a purpose. So if you have a purpose and you have a goal that you want to reach, that will be the main like thing that keeps you going on and that keeps you like developing. So you have to choose a goal or a purpose that is really high enough in order to make you always looking forward to it. But instead, it may be also like putting a lot of pressures that it's a long way, that I'm not going to take it one step. So it's important to have like shorter steps and shorter boards that you want to take and tackle every single time and every single day.
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
So I actually like love teaching a lot. So I want to see myself as a professor who is having here and launching the very first research center that actually have like no limits for it offers the opportunity for all genders, for all religions, and it offers the opportunity for people working in science and engineering in general. So we don't like, we actually have a problem that we are working separate. We don't have like an integration between all of the sciences. So we want a place that gathers all of us in one place in order to have one product that really changes our world. So yeah, and I'm more like into the field of bioinformatics and genetics in general. So that's how I see it.
Right. Rana, we hear the term empowering youth a lot. What do you think should be done to empower youth here in Egypt? A lot of efforts are being done by the Egyptian leadership in recent years. We've seen the Egyptian Leadership Program, the PLP. We've seen a lot of youth conferences taking place, the World Youth Forum, and the also the National Youth Forums that took place recently here in Egypt. How do you see the significance of these forums and gathering youth together from different parts of the world in one place? How far does this empower youth? How does it affect their exchange of ideas and information?
So actually it gives hope, and I found that here I have always found in the recent years that a lot of changes have been done, that all of the summits that have been done and the forums is actually giving us hope in order not just to think that we don't have here the opportunities that we want to travel. We actually giving us, they are giving us the hope here in Egypt. So that's really important, and it empowers youth a lot. I have a lot of my connections and a lot of my friends who have participated in organizing these stuff and have taken these leadership programs, and it changes the character like 100%. So you are doing like change makers. And this helps a lot because when you are just thinking that you have the problems and you are focused on the problem itself, it changes your mind, that you start to think about the solution and how it can be like improved. So actually always these like all of these summits have been always done like internationally, but here when you are having the whole world into Egypt, so they are having a new vision about us. And when I always travel and I'm representing Egypt, I was like, so yeah, they notice the promising changes that's happening, and they want to come and join these summits, and that's really important. It's really like it has a great impact on how you feel that your identity is doing a lot of change. And I found that it will like make a whole of changes in the next years, because these youths that have been really prepared will try to make a lot of changes and a lot of improvement.
You traveled to different countries. What did your travels abroad add to you on the personal level?
So mainly what it added to me is that we don't only have differences, we also have like points that we meet together. So we have similarities as much as we do. And what it added to me personally is that it added to me acceptance. So I now accept and I now understand how different people can react to different situations, and how our cultural like differences can still not like separate us, but it can like we can find points and bridges that make us connected together. And it helped me also to be more like independent, to be more responsible, and to be able like to go and see challenges. And we find that always when you think that it's not hard in your own situation, a lot of challenges is happening everywhere, and people are trying to do like amazing stuff even with the different stresses that's found everywhere. So it's more like having like as I mentioned at the beginning, that you are turning to be a global citizen, that you are trying to make the whole world like better, and that's what science talks.
What do you think can be done further to empower youth here in Egypt?
So mainly we are trying to have like we are trying to have integration points, so we can have like such clubs that is like we are actually having student clubs in universities, but we mean we can have like really integration centers that tackle the different problems or the issues. Or centers, for example, we can have like, for example, we have a center for excellence for water, but it's really focused, and we can move forward in order to have other like centers or other programs that gather all of us together in order to do a real impact. And it's actually started to be done, and it's happening on the real ground. So that's what I see, that you can listen to the ideas and try to listen to the ideas and try to make it come to the real world.
Rana, finally, what's the message that you would like to send to the youth from your place here at the studio?
I want to say them to know their potential and to believe in themselves, that they are actually can make a whole change, and they can make a whole new like innovations, and they have a lot of power, and their ideas can do actually make a change. So do not just like lose hope or give up for whatever stresses that's happening in your everyday life, but you should search for your inner potential and your inner goal, and to see what capabilities and how you can help others.
Finally, I would like to thank you very much for joining us, Rana Salah, student of biology in your last year, senior student of biology. All the best of luck.
Thank you so much. It was really nice meeting you.
And dear viewers, that wraps up this edition of Today's Youth. Don't forget to join us next week, same time. Till then, it's goodbye.